That road, then people came in, and it started out right here, went through the Cumberland Gap, and up to Boonesboro. And that's where history really kind of turned, because that really opened up not only just to make Kentucky, but the whole West. So the people started to flood in. You hear about the Wilderness Road? You probably heard about the Wilderness Road. You've never heard about Boone Trace, though, right?
No, I hadn't heard about Boone Trace.
So it started with Boone Trace. And then the Wilderness Road came along. It evolved out of Boone Trace, kind of split off. Boone Trace went to Boonesboro, and the Wilderness Road ended up in Louisville. And then Boone, that prong, actually, they kind of joined up Louisville, and then Lewis and Clark took off and explored the whole Northwest. So see, it all started with Little Boone Trace. And then he hiked it. He decided his fifth great grandfather came into Boone along Boone Trace.
It was the only route to get there at the time, so that must have been where he went.
And so he wanted to walk in the steps of his grandfather, which he did. Every step of the way.
When I first planned on doing it, I had no idea nobody else had done it before. At least not in the last 200 years. I mean, 300,000 people did it before. I wasn't the first, I was just the first recently.
In modern history.
That's right, right. And hopefully a whole lot more people are going to do it. Because I can't see how this route can set untraveled for any longer.
It's a wonderful route.
So much history. And you know, we talk about the American dream. But before that road existed, we were all subjects of England. Because this was just before the Revolutionary War. When that opened up, everybody got the idea, I can have my own land, I don't have to deal with England anymore, I can have my own way in life. And the American dream was kind of born on that road.
Because of that whole
Yeah.
So it's really, really important. That's why it's been forgotten about. You hear about the Wilderness Road, but you don't hear about the original. It's like Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. The other's the space shuttle. You want to look at it that way.
How far back can you go in your history, family history?
Oh my gosh, we've gone back in some of it to the 1600s,
Okay.
and I put a little bit on. I was looking for the Wetzels.
Oh, I think I remember that name.
Yeah, I wrote about that, and
Okay.
they came down. They were a couple of the families were Palatines that were had to leave Europe and came through William Penn, into Pennsylvania. They came into Philadelphia, and then they came south into the upper Maryland area, but crossed over at 66 and came into the Shenandoah Valley. And then from the Shenandoah Valley, they came on down, some of them.
So somebody in your family has crossed over the Cumberland Gap.
Yeah, well, this was the gap over the Appalachians.
Right.
I don't know what gap it is. Where Harper's Ferry is. Harper's Ferry Gap, up a little bit further north.
Yeah.
And what I was telling my friend Karen about, because of following you and the Wetzels and all of that stuff, my boys, their seventh great grandfather, and through my grandmother, my seventh great grandparents actually were neighbors in Rockingham County, Virginia.
Yeah.
It was the Wetzels and the Doves.
Yeah.
And I found the land records where they lived right next door to each other, and then when the older Wetzel died, the Doves bought his land. And I thought, how odd that 8 generations later, here we are, the two boys are the joining of them, the two families.
There's a lot of that around.
What's your name?
Maggie Rowe.
Did you email me?
I emailed on the blog. Just on the blog, I don't know.
On the
Be sure and put your name down.
this one?
Yeah.
On the banks by the Holston stands an inn called Netherland, a boatyard, a stage could stop on the great old stage road. People came traveling west, stayed at the inn in search of new beginnings for their loved ones and their lives. On the banks by the Holston stands an inn called Netherland, a boatyard, a stagecoach stop on the great old stage road. In the year 1818, the building became an inn when it was purchased by Richard Netherland. On the banks by the Holston stands an inn called Netherland, a boatyard, a stagecoach stop on the great old stage road. From families to presidents stayed at the inn, and the inn still stands today to remind us. On the banks by the Holston stands an inn called Netherland, a boatyard, a stagecoach stop on the great old stage road. On the banks by the Holston stands an inn called Netherland, a boatyard, a stagecoach stop on the great old stage road.